I invite you to step away from anything like that. You do not need to do any intellectual signaling. You do not need to prove that you're a good parent, in inverted commas, by taking your kids to art galleries and probably dragging them around. And you're allowed to focus on things that have ease and have joy and that you enjoy, because your joy matters. And especially if you've grown up in a family where there's been emotional neglect, you will have learned to omit yourself. So taking yourself into account may be extremely, extremely unfamiliar to you. So I really, in this case, want you to center your experience. So if I give you an example around this, I love being in nature and outside, and I can get the light in my eyes. I can even maybe take off my shoes and ground. And I like to have easy access to bathrooms because my twins seem to need to go to the loo quite a lot. And then if I'm constantly running like far away to the loo, it just makes it a bit of a pain, especially if I'm not with a friend or have gone with someone else. And I like things that are pretty, like beautiful locations, like beautiful parks, or like botanical gardens, or something like Kew Gardens or Wisley or Bushy Park, that are various different places near where I live, and or kind of in London somewhere. And I like to be able to take food that I know my children will eat. I like to make my own flask of tea. I'm very fussy about the way I make tea. And all of those things resource me. That makes it enjoyable for me. And so I really think about what will be enjoyable for me. How can both my girls and I have a nice time? How can we enjoy being together? Because if I took them to something that they really didn't like, that I did like, I don't know what that would be. But if I took them somewhere where I thought they needed to behave a certain way and get something from it that would then gratify me, then I've got expectations on their behavior, and I'm not allowing them to be free. And if I went and sat in a soft play the whole holiday, which I really find a lot, then that wouldn't cater to my needs much. So yes, I might go to a soft play at some point, or like a big play centre or something for fun, or if it's raining a lot, or a trampoline park. But there's also allowed to be time for me. And so really think about, step away from thinking about this is going to be a fantastic holiday where we do lots of baking and crafting, and we spend a long time crafting, and they manage to do all these tasks all by themselves or something. Like when crafting goes successfully in our house, it's normally because my children are colouring, or they have created their own crafting, not when I have tried to engineer something. Mine love painting. They love like painting with their hands still. So, I mean, obviously that makes a massive, then we have to wash their hands for about 5 hours afterwards. But, it's often the things that are the simplest things that bring the most joy. And like if we bake together, if I have a fantasy that we're going to bake a chocolate cake together, it's not going to be a good cake that we can eat. I mean, it's not going to be a really nice tasting cake. When we bake together, the best thing that I can actually do is to let them each have their own bowl, and to make a very simple cake mixture with hand beating, and let them each break their eggs, or break an egg, or have some flour and do that. And then the joy is in the process of making it. They never really want to eat the cake anyway. They're only interested in the icing, and I generally make the icing anyway. So, but if I try and keep tight control over the process, and I want to use a blender, there's so much more fighting, and we kind of all get on top of each other. So what we do well together is we work well if we're making a soup together, and everyone gets to cut up like easy vegetables like courgettes or something that's not too hard, and that seems to work well, and that creates joy.